Good morning, YouTube. Today we're going to be working on some trimmer racks for the trailer. This is the trailer. It's a Trailmaster 5 by 10 foot trailer. I'd like to have a 14 foot trailer, even a 12 foot trailer, but I don't have one. This is what I got, and the main reason I've kept it around so far is because it's handy for hauling my toolbox, which it worked perfect for. It's got a nice gate on it for getting the toolbox up on there, and it worked to haul the toolbox around just fine. So I'll show you the toolbox here in a second. Now we're gonna, in this box, I just put it on there not too long ago, you know, and getting ready for lawn mowing season. Gives me a for converting to a landscape trailer, which is, by the way, what I originally bought this for. I got a smoking deal on it. I originally bought it for hauling lawnmower around. I was doing lawn care on the side, then went to doing it full time, and then went back to being an automotive technician again. That's a long story for another day. But this is the trailer that we have. It's paid for. This is what we're going to start off with. Maybe next year get a bigger trailer. I'd like to get a 14 foot, but you know, 6 foot by 14 would be ideal for me. I think that's what I'd like, but this is what we're going to start off with. So I've got some square tubing. I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to use to make my, and some other little pieces of stuff that I've picked up to make my trimmer rack. I'll make a homemade trimmer rack just because it's cheap. Most of the stuff I already had here, didn't have to pay anything for it. And then I got a little piece of angle iron at Home Depot I'm going to cut and actually make me a bracket that runs from here to here, because one of the problems I have is the pins. See, right there I got a screwdriver right there, but the pins want to keep either breaking or popping out as I'm riding down the road and stuff. I've had different kinds of locking pins, things like that. It just beats them up and shears them off. So I'm gonna build a bracket. I forget who it was now. Once you see it, you'll recognize your design. I'm stealing your design, I'm sorry. I told you I was going to, so and I forget which channel it was now. That's what happens when you get 40 years old. You start forgetting stuff, I guess. But we're going to do that today. Another thing I want to talk, well, first let me show you the square tubing. This square tubing was at my in-laws' house. We bought that house in 2001, they did, and this was there. This is now 2015, and this long piece of the ladder so I can get up on top of my garage. That's a borrowed ladder from my father-in-law. I was over there, I picked that up too. This was buried down next to the fence in their backyard. It was there when we moved in 2001, and then so there it is. That's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to clean that up and cut it down and make my posts, and then I've got some other stuff I'll show you in a second. Moyo Yard yesterday on Facebook put out a question about this welder right here, the Chicago Electric 90 amp flux core wire welder from Harbor Freight Tools. A lot of people had some not so nice things to say, and some they say, oh, you should go buy the Lincoln, you should go buy the Hobart welder, you should buy this or buy that. You know what? If you just have tons of money and you make your living with a welder, you know, if I was making my living off of a welder, yeah, I'd want a Lincoln. A Hobart would be a good entry level, but a Lincoln would be what I'd want. And again, I would not snuff my nose at a Hobart. And I'm going to tell you, as an automotive technician, back in 2000, we had a problem here in Memphis with people cutting catalytic converters out of trucks. And we were, at the shop I was at, I was a pretty green technician. We were sending all those trucks, subletting them out to a local muffler shop. So I went down to Harbor Freight and I bought, back then they were blue, but it was the predecessor to this welder. It's identical, it's just blue. It's Chicago Electric wire welder, and I bought that joker, and I've used it to weld frames, to build exhaust with, to fixing different this, that, and the other. Matter of fact, I'll show you. Until I wore it out. It was 15 years old, and how I wore it out was welding on stuff that was way too thick for it, so I was really stretching the duty cycle on it. That's just a fact. So, but at any rate, for $100, I replaced it with this one, right? I'll show you. I'm not a master welder by any means. No one ever taught me. I bought a 4-foot stick of exhaust pipe, cut it into 1-inch sections, and welded it all back together. That's how I learned to weld. But right there, from rolling my toolbox on there, which I'll show you the toolbox in a second, and you'll say no wonder it broke. The angle iron broke, and I bought another piece of angle iron and welded that bracket in. And it's not the prettiest weld, but you know what? It's strong. It holds. I even welded that piece of angle iron there that and cut it down to where I could latch the trailer. Now all that was done with that wire welder that I just showed you. And I've welded all sorts of stuff together. I even did some welding inside my barbecue grill there because I really like it. Those things are expensive. And the insides of it were coming apart, so I got some angle iron and welded in some angle iron into the back of it there to make my to fix my barbecue grill. I've welded all sorts of kind of stuff with that thing, and I'm telling you, for a guy who owns a lawn care business that just wants to be able to work on his trailer, not paying somebody, you're going to use that thing more than a few times a year. That's a perfect welder for that. It's easy to learn how to use. They don't do the cleanest welds, but they're strong. Who cares how clean they are as long as they hold? I'm not trying to win a fashion show with my freaking trailer. I'm just trying to make a living. So people are close enough to say, man, that weld's not that good. Shut the heck up and get away from my trailer before I shoot you in the face. You know, why are you that close to my trailer? You know, the only reason you have any need to be that close to my trailer is if you're trying to steal something or you work for me. And nobody works for me, so you must be trying to steal something. Therefore, you deserve to be shot in the face. So get away from my trailer. I don't care what you think about the welds. They hold, don't they? Then who gives a crap? You know, that wire feed welder will do a fine job, and you'll see that here in a little bit. Now, just to show you my toolbox, you can see why that... my shop's a mess, y'all. We're going to be moving stuff around. I've got a lot of this stuff when I got out of the business of being an automotive repairman. All this stuff came home, and my garage has never been right since. A lot of this stuff is something like that toolbox over there is going to my parents' house in Oklahoma. My dad needs it, so I'm going to let him use it. But this is the big boy. This box ain't going nowhere. What you see there is 17 inches of penis extension. Right there, it's got the hutch on it, and it's slam packed full. Got 2 lockers on it. It's a Cornwell. It's old. I mean, that thing's probably 10 or 15 years old. I don't know. It's really not a new box. The new ones are a lot different. But that's the reason I've kept the trailer. Because when I need to move that, I hate to pay somebody. I can load this joker up on that trailer. And when I was in the shop, here's what I had in the shop. Every shop I went into. This box went. That box went. I have a great big old blue Cornwell roll cart that's every bit as big as that oven over there. Right? It's as big as that oven. That was in there. That's at my father-in-law's house. He needed it. There's my little Craftsman roll cart. My Blue Point roll cart. My Snap-on roll cart, which was used as my welding cart because it locks on the bottom, and my little Cornwell roll cart. All this was in every shop. So that pickup right there with that 10-foot trailer got all this stuff loaded up on it, and away we go. Oh, on top of that, oh, let me get out of here. Top of that, that little Kenmore refrigerator. That was in the shop too. I used that in the shop too. And so, you know, I didn't have that's always been just for here, that little Coleman. I'll do it's a decent enough little air compressor. If you've watched any of my other videos where I've done some repairs on cars here, I did, you know, got into and did a blend door motor on a F-150 and used that with a cut-off tool. It's adequate. It will do the job. it's just slow because it has to recharge a lot. It's a 15-gallon Coleman. I'd buy a 21-gallon. Would be the smallest I'd recommend to anybody that's going to do any kind of work with it, short of airing up air mattresses and tires. But I got it cheap. It's like $150 at We Sell Tools, and it is adequate, I guess. I'm able to get the job done with it. I wish I'd have gotten a 21-gallon though, honestly. But yeah, and I'm gonna say this too: anybody else out there looking to do whatever you're endeavoring to do, this has been my rule of thumb on what to buy. I do like to listen to what other people's experiences are. If I'm thinking about a welder, and I get on YouTube, I YouTube everything before I buy it. I get on YouTube and I see that welder there, and everybody that's had it says it's junk, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Then I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to buy the one that's the best I can afford to buy, that has decent enough reviews. It says that, you know, I don't care if it's 100% positive or not. Something that's got nothing but 100% positive reviews makes me start to wonder, you know. But I'm certainly not going to buy the most expensive, baddest boy on the block either. I'm going to try to stick with what works, but is well within my budget. And you know, Jesus himself said, "Don't be a slave to the debtor." We were just reading in Luke with the girls the other night, where it said to keep yourself free. Don't go in debt if you can keep from it. Sometimes you have to, I guess, but that's just my philosophy. If I can keep from going in debt, I'm not going to go in debt. I'd rather have something a little lesser that keeps me out of debt than to buy something a little more and be in debt. You know, I don't know. That's just me. That's just my thought. To each his own. You got to work your own way out in life. But my thought is, why buy anything more? I don't need anything more than what that welder will do. I'm not going to buy anything more than that welder. The other thing is return on investment. Return on investment. If you can go spend $500 on a Lincoln welder, it'd be the last welder you ever buy in your life, and all you're doing is a lawn care business. So you got to patch on your trailer here or there, maybe patch up a lawnmower deck or something like that here or there. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that here or there. That Chicago electric welder will last you 10 years, whereas the Lincoln welder will last you the rest of your life. If I have to spend $100 every 10 years to buy a new welder, I still came out less in the long run than buying that Lincoln welder. And I'm okay. My return on investment is what? I didn't have to pay somebody to weld on my trailer. You know, it's going to take a long time for that Lincoln welder to pay for itself. Of course, that Chicago electric welder, the first time I don't have to pay somebody to weld on my trailer, it paid for itself. Well, man, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to take that one. You know, everything from that is just free money. You know, it's not, now it's paying me, I'm not paying it. I feel the same way about Echo. That's another conversation we had. Echo. People had mixed reviews about it. I'll admit, when I bought my new chainsaw, I opened it out of the box and dang thing wouldn't start. I took it back to Home Depot that day, traded out another one, and that one's been perfect. My trimmer here, I don't remember all the numbers. This thing's old. It's an SRM 210. It's got the cable driven straight shaft down there. One thing, I want to say we got it in 07. I have never changed the spark plug. This air filter cap has never been off of it. You know, all that time. All I do is put gas in it and go. It's been perfect. Same with that Echo hedge trimmer up there. Use the crap out of that thing. Put gas in it and go. Never have done anything to it. My backpack blower. Y'all saw a review on that here not too long ago. About a month or two ago. Wherever it's at. It's around here somewhere. That back right there. The PV413H. It's not the most powerful backpack blower out there. But man, that thing has flawless operation. Ever since I bought it in 2007. Flawless. I don't winterize the stuff before I put it up. I just put it up. Perfect. Yeah, okay, is it still better? I don't know. Will it outlast this stuff? I don't know. This stuff has lasted a long time. I know it costs half as much as it's still. So my return on investment's been I could buy 3 of them before I pay for one still. So, you know, and they've lasted pretty dang good for me. So I'm going to stick with Echo. You know, that's just how I feel. I don't know how I feel about my Cub Cadet yet. I like it so far. I wish I'd have done a video, installed a 12 volt outlet on it. Should have done a video on that so y'all could see that, but I didn't think about it. I just put it together. So without further ado, I'm going to drag the trailer out here. Got to finish opening up the gate, drag the trailer out. We're going to set the tripod, and we're going to get started. I have kind of an idea in my head on how I want to go about this. I don't know yet. I know we're going to, if you watched my brake video on the Honda Accord, you saw my new vise. I'm going to get to use it. I use my reciprocating saw over there. It's an all power. It came $30 from O'Reilly's. Perfect. I love it. So we're going to get that piece there out, measure it down and cut it, and I'll show you. We're going to put some little scrap stuff together and build us a two trimmer rack. Because I really only need one because I only have the one trimmer, but my father-in-law does have a stick edger, so if I have somebody that just is really wanting a good edge done and they're willing to pay a little more for it, I'll be taking his stick edger out with me and using it, and I'd want to be able to secure it. So alright, hold on just a second, I'll be right back. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm going to tell y'all, I just barely have an idea in my head. I've never done anything like this before. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just know that I already had this pipe here, so I couldn't see this square tubing run. I couldn't see paying for a trimmer rack when I already had this here. So I just kind of have an idea. This is the passenger side of the vehicle. This is a curb side. This is where I'm going to put it. I've watched some videos. I tried to find some good videos on how to build a trimmer rack and just couldn't really find any that turned me on. So I didn't know this piece of square tubing was this long. So I was thinking I was going to have to attach it to this top post, to the top railing here. But now I'm thinking I don't have to do it that way. Thinking I could actually bring it down a little farther down on here and weld it in to the brackets there to make it a little more stable. So that's what I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do right off the bat, I'll show you. Before I do anything else, this piece down here is bent, so I'm going to cut it off right about here with my Sawzall just to get that bent piece off. And I think I want my trimmer racks, I don't want them too tall. I think I want them about that tall. So I'm going to cut that piece off and then get my tape measure. See, about that tall. So get my tape measure, measure out how tall I want it, and cut my 2 pieces and weld those onto the trailer. So, all you kids at home, I am a proponent of safety glasses, so before I hear you start screaming about that, I am a proponent of them. I'm just not going to go get them right now. Oh, just on a side note, I don't care about what brand of Sawzall I use. This one here I've had it for a long time. Working in the shop, I got, you know, shop discount, paid $30 for this Sawzall. It's All Power's the brand from O'Reilly's Auto Parts. And O'Reilly's, we got them there for around 68 bucks. It's the list price today. This is a Diablo blade from Home Depot. These things are bad to the bone. Don't buy any other blade for your Sawzall. This will cut wood, metal, whatever, and cuts it with ease. These Diablo blades are the bomb. They're the stuff. So. throw that away. I might be able to find something. Even though it's bent, there's still a little section there that's good. So, tape measures, if you're making your living with one, like a contractor or something, Stanley Fat Maxes are arguably the best. Me, find myself everywhere I go, I need a tape measure and don't have one with me, so I end up buying one. So I always buy them cheap. I end up at a hardware store or an automotive repair shop, automotive store. This came from AutoZone. It's a great neck. Got a drawer full of them in there. And I think the first thing I'm going to do, I want to be able to pull this flooring out of this trailer eventually. So I'm going to need to leave me, so I don't have to pull this back off, I'm going to measure up about 2 inches off the flooring. It's where I'm going to start my weld down here, and then we'll measure up how far it needs to be after that. Now let me go get it. I think I have a pen. Got a pen. Makes you think I'm going to measure up about 3 inches. Do the same thing over here. None of this, I promise you, is going to be an exact science. It's all going to be just kind of, about here, because that's how I do things. In the end, again, all I'm trying to do is make something to hold my trimmers. And we'll go up, make it 39 inches. 39 inches. So now what we're going to do, we're going to come in here. You saw how bad that thing shook around on me just trying to cut that thing off. So what we're going to do is put this in here in the vise and let the vise kind of clamp down on it. It's awfully muddy. Measure out my 39 inches. Right there in the mark here. Now, ideally, I'd use a metal cutting chop saw. Get a nice square cut. I don't have a metal cutting chop saw, so what I do have is a reciprocating saw, so that's what we're going to use. Not to ruin an expensive mass there. Again, Diablo blades. Bad to the bone. They're a brand new tractor. Drop 39 inches. Honestly, I think that's a pretty square cut anyway. See, we got two pretty even. The cut pieces of square tubing. Edges are fairly square. Good enough for the girls I go with. Alright, we're going to do one at a time because I don't have no clamps, I don't think. I'm going to clamp that down and start my weld. What I got here is just a Craftsman 6-inch C-clamp. I expect it to work just fine. You know what, I should probably clean everything up, buff it down. Let me do that, buff it up. This here is just a angle grinder. This is actually Cornwell tools. You can pick them up at any parts store or Sears or wherever. With just a 3M rough grit brown 2-inch grinding disc on there. Just want to clean the edge up where it's going to be welded. lot of times I won't wear any gloves at all. You'll see I don't wear any special stuff. I do have a welding helmet. My welding helmet is just the black welding helmet that came from Harbor Freight auto darkening, but I did paint it. You'll see here it is just a Chicago Electric welding. It's a $40 welding helmet. I didn't buy one with the fancy designs. I just bought one straight up black, and I painted it myself just because I was bored. I guess I had some extra spray paint for something else we were doing. That's this blue and this green that I wasn't really going to use for anything else, so I thought I'd paint my welding helmet. So as far as what speed I set it on and stuff, I don't know. I kind of feel it out as I go. This year I'm probably going to have it on max and a speed of maybe 3, just to see how it does, and we may adjust as we go. We're going to start just by welding up here at the top, and then I'll come down here on the sides and tack that in, and then we'll go from there. I'm not going to do a tutorial on how to weld because I by no means am a person to teach anybody how to weld, because I don't really know how to weld. I just kind of done my own thing, and so I'm not going to show you how to weld because I don't know. Buy a book, get on YouTube, do what I did, buy a welder and a stick of metal and just start playing with it till you find something that works. Now is the moment of truth here in just a second. You can see, I don't know how well you can see. It's not the prettiest weld in the world. Not the prettiest weld in the world. We're going to find out what really matters here in just a second. Prettiest weld in the world. But is that what really matters? That it's a pretty weld? Let's find out what really matters here. C-clamp is on. Still on there. I'd say it's secure. That's what matters. And so any of you that doubt that little welder, you can doubt my welding abilities looking at those welds. Like I said, they're not the prettiest in the world, but that joker's on there. So I'm fixing to do the same thing on this other side over here. I'm not going to video that, just going to conserve battery and memory on the camera and the sake of a timely video. I'm going to weld that one in. Then once I have the other side welded in, then I'll show you where we're going from there. How we're going to make our actual racks that are going to hold the trimmers. Okay, we got both of our posts up, welded in. Welder did a fine job. It wasn't the weld where that's lacking. It's not the machine itself. It's the guy operating the machine. Put a coat of primer on there. I'm gonna be washing the whole trailer off and painting the whole thing here. Eventually, I also gonna be rewiring it, putting new lights and stuff on it. Now to make the brackets that actually hold the trimmers in place. We're gonna make one because I only have one of these things. Okay, my neighbor next door, this is my idea on how to lock the trailer, the trimmer. These are gun locks. My neighbor next door had this whole case of them. Brought them to me and said her late husband had these and she's just looking to get rid of them. Didn't know what she was going to take them to Goodwill unless I wanted them. I said, yeah, I'll take them. I'll find a use for them. Had no thought of doing this with them then. But see, this is coated to protect your firearm, so it'll keep the trimmer from getting banged up, and it'll lock it. You know, it's more than long enough to go through. Alright, here we go. I don't have everything. I'm running out of battery, so this will be real quick. But welded that in there like so. Got these two up here like this. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. There's the trimmer. Trimmer's gonna go in there, come up here and sit down like that, and I'm gonna get some bungee cords that I'm gonna use to kind of make it sturdy. Got my pistol lock, goes through these holes like this, through I got a little hasp there, a hasp. Those, it's hard to do, but you get the idea. This will come through like that and lock in right there. That will secure the trimmer. Trimmer will be locked in. Can't go anywhere. Said I'll probably get some bungee cord or something I could put on here. Maybe even just one, just to pull that down so it doesn't bounce around as it's going down. It's not going to bounce out. You know, this will hold it in, keep it from bouncing out. But a bungee cord like right here going down, passing on down here somewhere or something, will keep that thing from bouncing around and beating my trimmer to death as I go down the road. And there it is. Trimmer rack. The video doing the other part's going to have to wait. I might just do them because I'm running out of battery power. I might just do them and then show you later how I did it, but it'll be pretty simple to see. But there it is. That's a homemade from scratch trimmer rack. What I did here, let me real quick, for this piece here, that little welder couldn't get enough penetration on the big pieces of spring steel. So what I did is I took piece of this, that piece that was bent from earlier, and I just cut the top of it out, made my C-channel there, and then welded that to the post, and then welded this piece of a hasp onto it. That made perfect, and then drilled holes through here so that this cable lock could go through, and this cable lock is insulated, so it'll protect keep from beating the trimmer up when it's going. But of course, once I latch that thing down, it's with a bungee, it's not going to bounce around in there anyway. But there she is, homemade trimmer rack. I have $0 invested in this. Is just all crap that I had laying around the house. Either was given to me or was just sitting around from something else or whatever. All crap just sitting around here. $0 into a trimmer rack, and I guarantee you that trimmer rack is as strong as anything you're going to see going down the road. That trimmer ain't going nowhere, and it's locked in and secure. Alrighty, with that, until next time.